Just like a centuries-old tree needs strong, well-nourished roots, our bodies need strong muscles as we age. Muscles are what keep us mobile and independent, not just our legs. Sadly, after 60, we start losing muscle mass silently. No pain, no warning, until climbing stairs or opening a door becomes a struggle. Sometimes, it's not illness, but simply missing a key nutrient in our diet. Today, let's explore, using both ancient wisdom and modern science, what foods can help protect our muscles and keep us strong and independent in our later years. Number 1. Getting out of bed too quickly after waking up. There's a common habit that many people, especially seniors, perform every single morning without giving it a second thought. Getting out of bed quickly the moment they open their eyes. For years it may seem harmless, even efficient, and perhaps nothing bad has ever happened. But beneath this seemingly innocent action lies a silent danger that affects millions of elderly individuals across the world. As we age, our body undergoes numerous changes. Our blood vessels become less elastic, our blood pressure tends to fluctuate more dramatically, and our balance is more fragile than in our younger years. All of these changes make one simple action, standing up too quickly, far more dangerous than it appears. During the night, the body is in a state of deep rest. Our muscles are relaxed, our heart rate slows, and our blood circulation operates at a gentler pace. This is a natural part of restorative sleep. However, upon waking, if we suddenly throw ourselves out of bed without giving the body time to gradually readjust, we can trigger a physiological phenomenon known as orthostatic hypotension. This refers to a sudden drop in blood pressure that occurs when someone stands up too quickly from a lying or sitting position. For a healthy young person, this might cause only momentary dizziness, but for older adults, it can result in blurred vision, sudden weakness, fainting, or dangerous falls. Many seniors experience these symptoms every day without realizing their true cause. They might feel a little dizzy, slightly off balance, or see black spots in their vision when they rise, and they often dismiss it as nothing. Unfortunately, these seemingly minor signs are the body's warning signals. Ignoring them can lead to falls, fractures, head injuries, and extended hospitalizations, events that can drastically reduce one's quality of life. Statistics clearly show that morning falls are among the leading causes of hospitalization for the elderly, especially those living alone. It is heartbreaking to realize that so many of these incidents could have been prevented by something as simple as slowing down in the morning. Eastern traditions, particularly Buddhist practices, emphasize the sacredness of waking up. Buddhist monks believe that the way you awaken sets the energy and tone for your entire day. They teach that the body must be called back to consciousness gently, in stages, so that it can adjust its circulation, muscle tension, and energy levels. In these traditions, monks begin their day by moving their fingers, rotating their wrists and ankles, and practicing slow, deep breathing, all while still lying in bed. Only after a few moments of this gentle reawakening do they slowly sit up, then gradually rise to stand. Modern science now confirms what these ancient practices have long taught. Waking up slowly reduces the risk of cardiovascular stress, helps regulate blood pressure, and significantly lowers the chance of falls. So what can you, as an older adult, do to protect yourself? It starts with awareness. Instead of jumping out of bed as soon as your eyes open, take a few deep breaths. Gently move your fingers and toes and wiggle your feet to stimulate circulation. Slowly roll onto your side and sit up gradually. Let your feet rest on the floor for about 20 to 30 seconds before standing. During this time, rotate your feet, shrug your shoulders, and stretch your back. Only when you feel fully balanced and steady should you stand up, and even then, do it slowly and consciously. These simple steps take less than 2 minutes, but can make a profound difference in your day and your long-term health. It is also important to understand that the body's internal systems do not wake up all at once. Blood flow, nerve signals, and muscle coordination need time to become fully active. When you give your body that time, you are not being lazy or slow, you are being wise and kind to yourself. In fact, this deliberate and respectful approach to waking up can preserve your independence and mobility for many more years. Just imagine the difference. A rushed morning filled with dizziness, discomfort, and danger, versus a calm, balanced start that leaves you feeling grounded and ready. Let me share a real example. There was a 73-year-old woman named Margaret who lived alone and prided herself on her independence. One morning, as usual, she woke up and immediately swung her legs off the bed, stood up, and began walking to the bathroom. Within seconds, she felt lightheaded, lost her balance, and fell, hitting her hip on the floor. She fractured her pelvis and had to spend weeks in a rehabilitation center, dependent on others for even basic tasks. Margaret's story is not rare. It reflects what can happen when the body is not given a chance to adjust after sleep. But the good news is that such stories are entirely preventable. Changing this habit may feel strange at first. It may even feel like an inconvenience. But just like brushing your teeth or taking your medication, this morning ritual should become a non-negotiable part of your routine. It's a form of self-care that pays off tremendously over time. By moving mindfully in the first minutes of your day, you are investing in your safety, your confidence, and your continued ability to live life on your own terms. And once it becomes a habit, you won't even think twice. It will feel natural, effortless, and reassuring. There's also a deeper psychological benefit. When you begin your day with care and intentionality, you set a calm and focused tone for everything that follows. You begin your morning not with stress or haste, but with self-respect and balance. This mindset carries through your decisions, your mood, and your energy levels throughout the day. In a way, this gentle act of waking up becomes a quiet declaration. I honor my body, I respect my life, and I choose to move through this day with strength and stability. In summary, getting out of bed too quickly is one of the most overlooked but serious health risks for older adults. It may seem like a minor detail, but it has major consequences when ignored. The act of waking up deserves attention, patience, and care. By adjusting how you rise each morning, you are taking an important step toward protecting your health, avoiding unnecessary injuries, and preserving your independence. Let this simple but powerful change be a gift you give to yourself every day, a gift that says you value your life, your mobility, and your well-being. The best part? It's never too late to start. Even if you've been doing it the same way for years, today is the perfect day to begin a safer, wiser, and more respectful morning ritual. 2. Not drinking water right after waking up. Every morning, millions of people begin their day in the same way. Some stretch, some reach for their phones, some head straight to the kitchen for a cup of coffee or take their medications. Yet, very few pause to consider what their body truly needs first thing in the morning. Among the most overlooked habits, especially in older adults, is the simple but powerful act of drinking water immediately after waking up. While it may sound insignificant, this small habit, or rather, the lack of it, can have far-reaching effects on your physical health, mental clarity, and long-term well-being. As we age, our body becomes more sensitive to imbalances, and hydration plays a critical role in maintaining everything from heart function to cognitive sharpness. During sleep, even though the body is at rest, vital processes continue uninterrupted. Your heart keeps beating, your lungs continue to breathe, and your organs go through a restorative phase. All of these processes consume water. In fact, after 6 to 8 hours of sleep, the body naturally wakes up in a state of mild dehydration, even if you don't feel thirsty. This is important because thirst is a delayed signal. By the time your mouth feels dry or you feel the urge to drink, your body is already under stress. For older adults, this sense of thirst becomes even less reliable. With age, the brain's thirst regulation mechanisms tend to weaken, which means you can be dehydrated without any noticeable symptoms. What many people do not realize is that starting the day without drinking water silently places stress on nearly every major system in the body. Blood becomes thicker, which makes it harder for the heart to pump efficiently. This can raise blood pressure, or paradoxically, cause it to fluctuate unpredictably. In people with a history of heart disease, high blood pressure, or circulation issues, this places them at increased risk of stroke or heart attacks, especially in the early morning, when these events are statistically more likely to occur. Moreover, poor hydration affects the brain, leading to early fatigue, confusion, slower reaction time, and even irritability. Problems often blamed on aging, but in many cases caused by something as simple as not drinking water early enough in the day. Take, for example, the story of Mrs. Mary, a 76-year-old woman who always believed she was doing everything right. She stayed active, ate well, and took her medications on time. Yet, every morning she found herself battling headaches, low energy, and a dizzy feeling that sometimes lasted well into the afternoon. Like many others, she reached first for coffee, thinking it would help her wake up. But coffee is a diuretic, which means it encourages the body to release more fluids. What she didn't realize was that by not drinking water and going straight to caffeine, she was deepening her dehydration. Eventually, a fainting spell sent her to the hospital, where doctors diagnosed her with mild dehydration and early-stage hypertension. The solution was simple but powerful. She began keeping a glass of water by her bedside and made it her first act each morning. Within a few weeks, her symptoms eased dramatically, and she regained the energy and clarity she had been missing. This scenario is far more common than people think. Many older adults experience symptoms like fatigue, dizziness, and brain fog in the morning, and they chalk it up to old age or a poor night's sleep. But in truth, the culprit may simply be the absence of water. Even a 1 to 2% loss of body water can impair mental performance and physical coordination, critical concerns for seniors who may already be at risk for falls and injuries. When you delay hydration, you are essentially running your body's engine without oil. Over time, this creates wear and tear on systems that are already more fragile due to the natural aging process. In Eastern philosophies, particularly among Buddhist monks, water is considered the first food of the day, the nourishment that awakens the organs and purifies the system. These ancient practices recognize water not just as a drink, but as a form of respect for the body, a way of honoring the life that continues to sustain us. Science today agrees with this perspective. Research has shown that drinking water first thing in the morning helps to kickstart metabolism, improve digestion, flush out toxins, and regulate blood pressure. It also promotes better nutrient absorption from food later in the day and supports healthy kidney function, a major concern for older individuals. So what should you do? Begin your day with a simple, loving gesture to yourself. Drink water as soon as you wake up. It doesn't need to be a large amount. A small glass is enough to begin with. You can even add a few drops of lemon to support your digestive system and provide a gentle detoxifying effect. If cold water feels harsh in the morning, opt for room temperature or slightly warm water, which is often easier on the stomach. And if you find it hard to remember, place a water bottle or glass on your bedside table before going to sleep, so it's the first thing you see when you open your eyes. This practice is not just about hydration, it's about setting the tone for your day. By starting with something so natural and essential, you signal to your body and mind that you are taking care of yourself. It helps you feel more grounded, more alert, and more in tune with your physical needs. You may be surprised to find that many minor discomforts you've gotten used to, stiff joints, mental fog, sluggishness, begin to ease or disappear altogether. Over time, this can translate into fewer doctor visits, fewer medications, and a greater sense of independence. Some might argue that they've gone years without drinking water in the morning and have felt fine. But just because the damage isn't immediately visible doesn't mean it isn't happening. The effects of chronic dehydration are subtle and cumulative, like a quiet leak in the roof that doesn't show up until the damage is done. By the time symptoms appear, high blood pressure, urinary tract issues, kidney problems, it may already require medical intervention. Prevention is always easier and less painful than cure. And the beauty of this solution is that it is entirely in your control, doesn't cost a thing, and takes less than a minute. You don't need to overhaul your entire routine to start seeing results. Just a single change, prioritizing water first, can shift your internal balance in a positive direction. If you're someone who takes medications in the morning, it's even more important to drink water first. Some medications can irritate the stomach lining or affect kidney function, and having water in your system cushions these effects and improves absorption. You'll also find that your digestive system functions more smoothly, your energy is more consistent, and your overall well-being begins to stabilize. In closing, Not drinking water after waking up may seem like a small oversight, but it carries enormous consequences, especially for older adults. Your body, after working hard through the night, wakes up in need of replenishment. Ignoring that need is like turning away from a friend who has supported you without asking. Giving your body the hydration it deserves is a way of saying thank you for all the heartbeats, all the breaths, all the effort it makes every single day to keep you going. And the good news is, it's never too late to start. Whether you're 60, 70, or even 90 years old, your body still responds to love, care, and good habits. Let drinking water in the morning be your first act of kindness toward yourself each day. It is a simple ritual, but one that speaks volumes, and in time, your body will thank you with strength, clarity, and renewed vitality for the life ahead. 3. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach. For many people, the day does not truly begin until the first warm sip of coffee touches their lips. The rich aroma, the familiar taste, the comforting warmth in the hands, coffee has become more than just a beverage. It is a ritual, a moment of calm, and for some, even a source of emotional reassurance. Especially for older adults, coffee often marks the start of the daily routine, offering a sense of normalcy and energy. However, while coffee in itself is not harmful, and may even offer certain health benefits when consumed appropriately, one common habit associated with it can quietly lead to a host of problems over time. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach, right after waking up. As we age, our digestive system becomes more delicate, our gastric lining more vulnerable, and our tolerance for harsh stimulants diminishes. When you wake up in the morning, your stomach is in a fasting state. It has been empty for hours. Your digestive acids are already prepared to be active, and your blood sugar levels are low. Pouring black coffee into this environment is akin to lighting a fire on dry grass. Coffee stimulates the production of gastric acid, which in turn increases the acidity inside your stomach. But without any food to act as a buffer or absorb that acid, the acid begins to attack the stomach lining itself. Over time, this repeated irritation can lead to gastritis, acid reflux, heartburn, bloating, and even ulcers, conditions that are unfortunately very common among the elderly, but often misunderstood as a natural part of aging. Take the case of Mr. John, a 75-year-old gentleman who proudly kept his decades-long morning ritual. Wake up, brew a strong cup of coffee, and drink it before doing anything else. For years, this habit seemed harmless, but gradually, he began experiencing stomach discomfort, burning sensations in the chest, a bitter taste in his mouth, and occasional nausea. At first, he dismissed it as age catching up. However, when he visited a nutritionist, he learned that his coffee-first habit was silently damaging his digestive tract. Once he made a small change, eating a light snack like a banana or a few nuts before drinking coffee, his symptoms eased, and his mornings became noticeably more comfortable. The issue here is not coffee itself, but rather its timing and the lack of preparation the body receives before its stimulation. Caffeine is a powerful substance. It speeds up the nervous system, raises heart rate, and can trigger the release of stress hormones like cortisol. In a healthy, well-fed body, this effect is moderated. But when the stomach is empty, caffeine enters the bloodstream faster and hits harder, potentially leading to anxiety, jitteriness, or even palpitations, especially for older individuals who may already have a sensitive cardiovascular system. This sharp spike in stimulation may provide a temporary feeling of alertness, but it often leaves people feeling more fatigued or restless later on. Furthermore, coffee can interfere with the body's absorption of certain essential nutrients, especially if taken before or with medications. For seniors who are on medications for blood pressure, thyroid, or other chronic conditions, drinking coffee too early can reduce the effectiveness of these drugs or irritate the stomach further. This becomes a serious concern because the combination of medications and caffeine on an empty stomach creates a perfect storm for digestive distress and systemic imbalance. Most seniors are not warned about this because it seems like a small detail, but the reality is that the timing and method of consumption greatly influence how both food and medicine interact in the body. In many Eastern traditions, particularly among Buddhist monks, there is a deep understanding of how to prepare the body before stimulation. They teach that before activating the mind and body, it must first be nourished and stabilized. This is why monks typically consume light foods, such as fruits, grains, or a warm soup, before engaging in intense mental activity or consuming strong substances. Their goal is to maintain internal balance, protecting the digestive tract and nervous system from being overwhelmed. It is a lesson in harmony, understanding that the body, especially as it ages, thrives not on extremes but on rhythm and gentleness. So, what does this mean for you if coffee has always been a cherished part of your morning? The good news is that you don't need to give it up. Instead, simply change the order in which you consume it. Before having your first cup of coffee, eat something light and nutritious. It doesn't have to be a full breakfast. Even something as simple as a banana, a slice of whole grain toast, a few almonds, or a spoonful of plain yogurt can be enough to line your stomach and reduce the harsh effects of caffeine. This small act serves as a protective layer, allowing the stomach acids to do their job without harming the stomach lining and providing a more balanced release of energy into your system. Another helpful approach is to delay your coffee intake by 30 minutes to an hour after waking. Use that time to drink water, stretch gently, breathe deeply, and reconnect with your body. This not only gives your digestive system a gentle awakening, but also helps regulate your cortisol levels, which naturally peak in the morning. By waiting a little while before having your coffee, you reduce the chance of spiking cortisol even further and support a more natural energy rhythm throughout the day. Let's not forget the emotional and psychological aspects of this habit. Many people associate coffee with comfort, solitude, or a moment of peace before the day begins. That connection is meaningful and doesn't need to be broken. Instead, enhance that ritual with a sense of care. Place a small plate of food beside your cup, light a candle, or sit by the window. Breathe deeply before sipping. Turn your coffee moment into a moment of mindful nourishment, not just a jolt of caffeine. The difference is subtle but significant. It is a shift from using coffee as a crutch to appreciating it as a companion on your journey toward health. Aging does not mean giving up the small pleasures of life, but it does mean becoming more aware of how those pleasures affect the body. Coffee, when consumed with care and mindfulness, can remain part of a joyful morning routine. But when consumed on an empty stomach, especially over months and years, it can chip away at your digestive health, your heart rhythm, and your overall stability. The effects may not be immediate, which is why many overlook them. But just like erosion on a mountainside, the damage accumulates until one day a landslide occurs. For some, that landslide might be chronic gastritis. For others, it may come in the form of acid reflux so severe it disrupts sleep. And for those with pre-existing conditions, the consequences can be more serious. In conclusion, drinking coffee on an empty stomach is a silent habit with loud consequences, especially for the elderly. It's not about removing coffee from your life, but about respecting your body's needs first. By eating something small before drinking coffee and delaying that first cup slightly, you protect your digestive system, regulate your nervous energy, and support your heart and brain more effectively. You give your body the buffer it needs to handle stimulation safely. These small changes, though they may seem trivial, can dramatically improve your comfort, your mood, and your long-term health. And remember, it's never too late to adjust. Every day is a fresh opportunity to choose differently, to love your body a little more, and to treat your health with the kindness it deserves. 4. Not doing light stretching or morning mobility after waking up. Every new day offers a fresh beginning, and for older adults, how that day begins can profoundly shape their physical comfort, mental energy, and long-term well-being. One of the most important but frequently overlooked aspects of a healthy morning routine is the simple act of gentle stretching or warming up the body after waking. While many seniors rise from bed and immediately begin their morning activities, such as going to the bathroom or preparing breakfast, skipping this short moment of physical preparation can silently increase the risk of pain, imbalance, stiffness, and even serious injury. At first glance, it may seem like a small detail, but in reality, the absence of morning stretching is like setting off on a journey without checking if your vehicle is ready. The body, especially in later years, needs time and movement to transition from a resting state into full function. Ignoring this need may not lead to instant problems, but over time it can wear down your joints, strain your muscles, and rob you of the ease and freedom that you deserve in your golden years. Throughout the night, our bodies lie still for hours. As we sleep, our circulation slows, our muscles soften, and our joints become less lubricated. While this restful state allows for deep recovery, it also means that when we first wake, our bodies are not yet ready for sudden movement. Many older adults report waking up with stiffness in the knees, hips, back, shoulders, or neck. It's a sensation often brushed off as just getting old. But that stiffness is not merely a sign of aging. It's the body asking for a gentle reintroduction to motion. Failing to respond to this request and pushing your body into full movement too quickly can increase the risk of muscle strain, joint pain, and falls. Muscles that haven't been gently awakened are more prone to injury, and joints that haven't been warmed are less stable. Even a short walk across the room without preparation can result in discomfort, or worse, a sudden fall that might have been entirely preventable. Consider the story of Margaret, a 79-year-old woman who was always proud of her independence. Each morning, she rose early and immediately headed for her kitchen to prepare tea. But recently, she had noticed that her legs felt heavier, her knees stiffer, and her steps less steady. She dismissed the discomfort, attributing it to age. Then, one morning, she stood up, took a few steps too quickly, and her knee gave out. She lost her balance and fell, hitting her hip on the edge of the bed. Although she didn't suffer a fracture, she was left shaken and spent weeks relying on others for help with daily tasks. What she hadn't realized was that her body simply wasn't ready to move so suddenly. It had needed time, a few minutes of stretching and joint rotation, to adjust and regain strength after hours of stillness. Her story is not unique. Countless seniors face similar experiences that could be avoided with just a little more patience and awareness in the first minutes of the day. In many Eastern traditions, including those followed by Buddhist monks, the act of waking is considered sacred, not just for the mind, but for the body as well. Monks are taught to respect the transition from sleep to wakefulness. They do not immediately leap from bed or start their daily duties. Instead, they move slowly, practicing gentle stretches while still lying down, moving fingers and toes, rotating wrists and ankles, extending the spine, and breathing deeply. These movements are not just spiritual, they are deeply physiological, helping to restart circulation, activate the nervous system, and reawaken muscular coordination. Modern science now validates this ancient wisdom. Gentle morning movements help increase blood flow to muscles, encourage synovial fluid, the natural joint lubricant, to move freely and reduce stiffness. Stretching also signals to the brain that the body is safe and ready, promoting better balance, focus, and confidence throughout the day. For older adults, building a short routine of morning mobility exercises is one of the most impactful changes that can be made to protect long-term health. And the best part? It doesn't require any equipment, money, or professional training, only attention, time, and care. Before even getting out of bed, take a few minutes to breathe deeply. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes to reawaken the extremities. Rotate your ankles and wrists in both directions to stimulate circulation. Slowly extend your legs one at a time. While lying on your back, stretch your arms above your head and gently arch your spine. Turn your head from side to side. These movements may seem small, but they carry significant benefits, especially when done consistently. They prepare your joints, warm your muscles, and awaken your awareness of your body's condition for the day. Once you've completed these in-bed movements, roll to your side and rise slowly to a seated position. At this point, while sitting on the edge of the bed, you can continue your gentle warm-up. Lift your shoulders up and roll them back. Stretch your neck by tilting your head gently to each side. Bend forward slightly to loosen the lower back. Rotate your legs a little to help activate your hips, and above all, move slowly. Pay attention to how your body feels. This isn't a workout, it's a conversation with your muscles and joints, one that says, I care, I'm listening, and I want to move safely today. Many older adults hesitate to adopt morning stretching because they believe it's unnecessary, or they feel unsure about what to do. But stretching is not about complicated yoga poses or athletic flexibility. It is about intentional movement, soft, patient, and consistent gestures that help your body transition from rest to action. Over time, these small movements build resilience. They reduce stiffness, ease chronic pain, improve circulation, and enhance balance. They also help prevent the kind of sudden discomforts, such as back spasms, muscle pulls, or joint locking, that often appear without warning. In addition, starting the day with this kind of physical self-care helps to reduce the mental fog or sluggishness that many seniors experience after waking up. Movement increases blood flow to the brain and boosts alertness, making it easier to feel energized and motivated throughout the day. Let's also not underestimate the emotional benefit of this practice. For many seniors, waking up is accompanied by a moment of anxiety, sadness, or loneliness, especially for those living alone. But beginning the day with slow, nurturing movements can provide a sense of grounding and self-connection. It reminds you that you are alive, capable, and deserving of care, that your body, even with its limitations, still holds strength and grace. Morning stretching becomes more than a health tip. It becomes a ritual of dignity and empowerment, a gentle declaration that aging can be embraced with mindfulness and presence. In conclusion, skipping morning stretching and warm-up movements is a small mistake with potentially big consequences. As we grow older, we can no longer take for granted that our bodies will simply wake up ready to move. Instead, we must give ourselves time. A few gentle minutes each morning can add not only years to your life, but life to your years, keeping you mobile, independent, and pain-free for longer. And perhaps even more importantly, it's a chance to start your day with care, intention, and gratitude for the body that has carried you through so much. It's never too late to begin. Even if today is your first time stretching in the morning, your body will notice, and tomorrow it will thank you. Start small, move slowly, listen carefully. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain: freedom, comfort, confidence, and vitality. 5. Poor posture when getting out of bed and taking the first steps of the day. The first movements of the day might seem insignificant. After all, getting out of bed and walking to the bathroom or kitchen is something we've done thousands of times throughout our lives. But what many people don't realize, especially as they grow older, is that the way you move in those first few moments after waking can quietly shape your physical strength, your balance, your breathing, and even your emotional state. One of the most overlooked and dangerous habits among seniors is getting out of bed and starting the day with poor posture. Hunched shoulders, a bent spine, a lowered head, and a collapsed chest may seem like a normal result of aging or morning stiffness. But in truth, this posture not only sends a message of weakness to the world, it sends stress signals throughout your entire body. After hours of sleep, your muscles are relaxed, your joints have rested, and your nervous system is transitioning from a state of rest to activity. In this delicate window, the way you align your body as you sit up and begin to walk has an immediate and lasting impact. When you rise with slumped shoulders and a curved spine, your lungs are compressed, reducing the amount of oxygen your blood can carry. Lower oxygen levels lead to fatigue, slower thinking, dizziness, and even emotional instability. The diaphragm, the main muscle responsible for deep breathing, is also restricted, causing shallow, rapid breaths instead of the slow, nourishing breaths that bring clarity and calmness. For older adults who already have reduced lung capacity or circulation, this physical collapse can make mornings feel more difficult than they need to be. Poor posture in the morning also has a direct effect on digestion. When the abdominal cavity is compressed by a hunched torso, the stomach and intestines have less room to function properly. This can lead to bloating, gas, constipation, and indigestion, especially when compounded by the natural slowing of metabolism with age. Many seniors experience discomfort during or after breakfast and may not realize that part of the problem stems from their posture before they even began to eat. By simply sitting or standing with a straight spine and open chest, digestion becomes easier and more efficient, giving the body the support it needs to absorb nutrients and eliminate waste comfortably. Perhaps even more concerning is how poor posture affects balance and coordination, two of the most crucial aspects of independence in older age. When your body is slouched, your center of gravity shifts forward. This unbalances the body, forcing your feet and legs to work harder to compensate. It shortens your stride, weakens your gait, and makes you more vulnerable to tripping or stumbling. Over time, the body adapts to this imbalanced state, and what began as a slight slouch becomes a permanent posture. Many seniors who fall at home during the early hours of the day do so not because they tripped on something, but because their bodies were not properly aligned and supported during those critical first steps. Take, for example, the case of Mrs. Helen, an 81-year-old woman who lived alone and loved her independence. She had no major health problems and was mentally sharp. But over time, her family noticed that she had become quieter in the mornings, often walking slowly with her head down and shoulders rounded. She started experiencing light dizziness and occasional shortness of breath, but dismissed it as age-related. One morning, while walking to the bathroom, she stumbled and fell, injuring her hip. Though she recovered, she admitted afterward that she had felt off balance for weeks, but never thought it had anything to do with her posture. What happened to Mrs. Helen is not uncommon. When posture deteriorates silently, confidence, stability, and energy tend to follow. There is also an emotional and psychological dimension to posture. Multiple studies have shown that our body language influences our mood and self-perception. A hunched posture has been linked to feelings of sadness, insecurity, and anxiety. In contrast, standing tall with a straight spine and lifted head is associated with greater self-esteem, confidence, and mental clarity. When seniors begin their day slouched over, it does more than compress their lungs. It can unconsciously set a tone of helplessness, weariness, or resignation. But when you take those first moments to sit tall, align your body, and look forward rather than down, you send a message of dignity and self-respect not only to yourself, but to your nervous system, which responds by balancing hormones, improving focus, and calming internal stress responses. In many spiritual and healing traditions, posture is not just about the body. It is seen as the physical expression of your inner energy and mental state. Buddhist monks, for example, treat the act of rising each morning with sacred attention. They do not begin the day slouched or rushed. Instead, they rise slowly, sit upright with awareness, breathe deeply, and carry themselves as though their body is a temple. And modern medicine is beginning to understand why. Good posture enhances blood flow to the brain, improves digestion, supports better lung function, and protects the musculoskeletal system from unnecessary wear and tear. So how can older adults improve this habit and begin their day in a way that supports rather than drains their strength? It begins before you even stand up. As you sit on the edge of your bed in the morning, take a few deep breaths. Gently pull your shoulders back and stretch your spine tall, as if you are trying to grow a few centimeters. Keep your chin level with the floor and your eyes looking forward, not down. Engage your abdominal muscles slightly to support your spine. Place your feet flat on the floor about hip-width apart. Only then, once you feel balanced and steady, begin to rise, slowly, deliberately, and with full awareness of your body's alignment. These small adjustments take less than a minute, but can dramatically improve how you feel, how you move, and how your day unfolds. It's also helpful to include a few posture-strengthening movements throughout the day. Simple exercises like shoulder rolls, back stretches, and gentle chest-opening poses can help reverse the effects of slouching. If you sit for long periods, make a point to check in with your posture often. Are you sitting tall? Are your shoulders relaxed and back? Is your head aligned with your spine or leaning forward? Postural awareness is a habit, and like all habits, it improves with practice. You don't need to be perfect, just consistent and kind to yourself as you relearn the natural posture your body was designed to hold. In closing, poor posture may seem like a minor detail in the grand scheme of aging, but it is one of the most powerful and silent influences on your health and independence. The way you sit up, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, these all play a role in your strength, your balance, your breathing, your digestion, and your sense of confidence. It is not just about avoiding pain or falls, though those are important goals. It is about moving through life with presence, grace, and the dignity you deserve. Aging does not have to mean shrinking inward. It can mean expanding in awareness, standing tall in experience, and walking with a steady and proud heart. So tomorrow morning, When you open your eyes and prepare to rise, remember this: every step begins with your posture. Every breath is deeper when your chest is open. Every movement is safer when your body is aligned. You do not have to change everything at once. Just begin with this one act of care. Sit tall, breathe fully, and rise with intention. Your body will feel the difference. Your mind will recognize the shift, and your spirit will quietly say thank you. They say a healthy body comes from a peaceful mind, and a long life comes from strong roots. Those roots aren't just about inner peace and compassion. They're also about a strong body nourished daily with the right things. If you've ever skipped certain foods thinking they weren't important, it's time to reconsider. A small change in your diet, a simple but smart choice, can revitalize your muscles, making every step lighter and stronger. As Buddha said, the body is the boat, wisdom is the rudder. A strong body makes the journey smoother. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with loved ones. You never know, a simple reminder might help someone maintain their health and their hope for a fulfilling old age.